Hi everyone. So, I decided to talk about my most recent reads. Now, I did a video before. Unfortunately, I keep like doing clips and then I look at my clips and I'm like, I don't like the way I sound in them. So I end up deleting my clips and I ended up deleting the beginning part of this video. So I was like, crap. So I had to go and redo this video. So the characters are Daisy and Ojek. I gave the spice rating a 2 out of 5. It wasn't really that spicy. I would say this book felt more like a 3.5. So I said, so Daisy has had it rough for a bit. Not only has she not resonated to anyone, but she also is healing from burns associated with her saving someone from falling into the fire pit. She pushed them out of the way and she ended up like getting the brunt of the flames on her. So she has like burns, even though she is healing, like that Kui is healing her, but she still will probably always have like scars and stuff like that. She feels hideous and doesn't think anyone will love her. Also, she came from another planet where the man she was married to only valued her for her beauty, and he only wanted to be with his male lover. Like every night, she explained it, like every night, him and his lover would have sex in the bed with her, right next to them, so she would see. And I don't care if it's a straight couple, a gay couple, whatever have you, couple you call yourself. I do not want to sleep in the same bed with somebody who is doing the dirty. I just, it's a little too much for me. I'm like, no, can you like go somewhere else with that? I'm trying to sleep, okay? I don't need to hear like moans and, creaks in the bed and all this other stuff. It's just like, no, thank you. So Ojek has been attracted to Daisy for a few years, and since her accident, he has been helping her and being her friend. Daisy hatches a plan to force resonance with her and Ojek so she can have a baby. So I thought this was a decent read. I will admit I wasn't a huge fan of Daisy from the previous books because she seemed pretty useless at the village. She also babysat the children but didn't help with anything else. But once Ruby Dixon explained more of Daisy's backstory, then I warmed up to her a bit. But she is still not my favorite heroine. I felt bad for Ojek because even though he wanted Daisy for his mate, he didn't think she wanted him as much, mainly because his own mother didn't pay much attention to him when he was growing up. Ruby explains more in the story, so he was insecure about himself. Overall, decent read, but not a favorite. Both of these characters were, in a sense, like insecure about themselves because she, used her beauty while she was on that other planet with her, husband and his lover. She used her beauty to make herself look, good for her husband, even though the husband didn't want her at all. And it was sad. It's sad knowing that not only that your husband, who you're married to, doesn't want to be with you, like, in any way, like sexually, otherwise. Not even as like a companion, basically. Not only does he not want to be with you, he's just using you as like a distraction or like a beard, using her as a beard to cover up the fact that he's gay. So not only did she have to deal with that, but the fact that every night him and his lover would be having, sexual relations, and she'd see it, she'd hear it, and it's just sad. It's like, ugh. So she had that going for her, just a lot of, stuff in her head and everything. And then Ojak, you know, basically being really insecure and like, you know, he wants her to want him for him, not for the fact that he can give her a baby, you know. And she knows that he's attracted to her, you know. So it's like, she kind of like was using him like at the beginning, but then it's like as they started to like develop feelings for each other, she realized that, you know, she was attracted to him and she liked him and she wanted to be with him and be his mate. And then like she had gotten injured at the fruit cave because they ended up going over to the fruit cave to try to like, you know, do some stuff. And she got injured and it like scared him. He got scared and kind of like rejected her. And it just, it really kind of reinforced that already previous rejection she felt with her like former husband. It like reinforced for her, like, you know, oh, well, now here's another man who doesn't want me. And so it really kind of messes with women's self-esteem, okay? So women are just, a lot of women are very like insecure about themselves. And I mean, I've gotten to the point where I don't care if a guy's attracted to me or not. It doesn't bother me. It's like, okay, you're not attracted to me. Even though if I think the guy's cute. I'm like, oh, that guy's cute. If he's not attracted to me, he's not attracted to me. It's a preference, you know. You're attracted to who you're attracted to. I'm more attracted to like personalities over looks. Like, obviously I don't want a guy to look like an ugly troll, you know. But I don't go for pretty boys. That's not who I'm attracted to. I like a guy with a good personality and who can make me laugh. That is my biggest trait with people. It's like, if you can make me laugh and you have a great personality and we can get along with each other, that to me is more attractive than somebody who looks like Brad Pitt or Keanu Reeves or something. Even though I think they're good looking guys, if they have a shit personality, you know, that doesn't help anything, you know. A man can become better looking to me the more I'm around him if he has a really good personality, you know, or he's kind, you know, if he's kind to children and he's kind to animals and things like that. That's what attracts me to a man, is someone who's generous and kind and, you know, isn't a creepo, you know, isn't a offender, predator, things like that. I want a guy who's kind, and of course with my boyfriend, I mean, he likes to read too, so that's just a bonus, you know, that he's a reader himself. So we are a family of readers. My children read too, so that's something I pushed for them to do. So so for me, it's like, you know, you could kind of overlook somebody's, like, maybe when you first initially meet that person, you may not be attracted to them, but the more you're around that person, the more you know, become attracted to them. So, yeah. So anyways, like I said, with this book here, it was all right. There was some parts I liked about it, but there were other things that I just kind of like, fell a little flat for me. And it was a little sad. I'll just say that. It was a little sad. Some of her other books have been a little bit more like upbeat, and this one here kind of like felt like more of a darker tone and sadder. So yeah, there was that. But other than that, it was decent, but not as good as like some other books that I've liked from Ruby Dixon. But yeah, anyways, I will put in the other clip of, you know, the other book I've discussed. Hi, so I am reading My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. I do not like this book at all. I normally like her books. There are a few that I'm just, you know, wasn't a fan of. This one here irritates me so much. If this couple, you know, if these two people are not fighting with each other, they're like trying to bone each other, but they keep getting interrupted. Like, one thing that irritates me is authors that do not do proper research with some of this stuff, right? One of the things is her brother, who seems like a real big pussy, okay? Her brother's a pussy, and she babies him. She's not that much older than him. She fucking babies him like she's his mother. It's just stupid. You know, there are sisters that are like that. They baby their little brothers, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You don't baby your little brother. He's a grown-ass fucking man. So I hate that. So he gets stung by a jellyfish. And then the other people who are with her brother Jude are like, oh, don't worry, we peed on it. If you have done any research on jellyfish, you know urine does not take the sting away. The first thing you need to do is make sure that the stingers, the tentacles, are out of your skin. That's the first thing. So you have to, you know, maybe use something like, if you have like a wetsuit or something like that, you need to use like maybe the thing of the wetsuit to take the tentacles out. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you have vinegar around, you pour vinegar on the burn to get rid of it. Pee does nothing. Pee does nothing. Vinegar will take the sting away. If not vinegar, then you go and you use like salt water if you don't have vinegar. But it's like, come on, Tessa Bailey, do some fucking research. Pee does not take the sting away for a jellyfish. So that irritated me. Then this whole story is just basically stupid, okay? We've got this fucking bounty hunter who comes in and he's investigating this murder because her and her brother go to this vacation, are going on to this vacation to like Cape Cod, you know, which is like Cape Cod is like a richier area. You know, there are some areas of the East Coast that are like for the wealthy to vacation, not for poor people. So she went and spent all this like money. She's a teacher, and she went and saved up all this money to go and for them to vacation in Cape Cod. There are better places I could tell you to vacation other than Cape Cod. Then, while they're in the house, she discovers a body. And so, of course, now this bounty hunter comes in to go and try to solve this murder. One thing, they are like instantly attracted to each other, which is like insta-lust. And I am not a big fan of insta-lust. It has to work. It's not working for this one here. It's annoying. If this couple, these two, are not like fighting with each other, like I said, they're trying to get in each other's pants. There was 2 failed attempts where they were almost getting there. And I've literally gotten blue ball, you know, I got blue balls with this, you know, twice so far. And it's only 47% in. And they've like, haven't done the dirty. And then it's like too quickly they got attracted to each other. And then, like I said, they're just like arguing back and forth with each other. And then the guy who's the bounty hunter, Miles, is popping fucking antacids like it's candy. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. You don't pop that many freaking antacids. It's not good for your stomach. You know, if you have problems with, you have a lot of like, you know, problems with antacids, you know, like acid buildup and all that stuff, then you don't take antacids. You don't go and just keep popping antacids. You gotta, you know, get like a prescription or something. So for me, I was just like, oh my God, this dude just keeps popping antacids. It's just fucking ridiculous. This is so stupid. To me, I don't care about like the solving of this case. I really just don't care. So right now I'm kind of skimming through the book because I'm just not enjoying this. This is just frustrating to me, irritating. I'm not enjoying it. Yeah, this is just annoying. And I don't like the heroine Taylor. I don't like her. It's like, she's annoying. She's so annoying, you know? And I'm just like, I'm not liking any of these. They're so like immature. All of them are immature. They're they're way too immature. Even the bounty hunter, who's supposed to be this grown-ass man who's, you know, been divorced and all that stuff, he just seems way too immature. They seem way younger than what they are. You know, they seem like teenagers. It's just like, yeah. So yeah, right now I'm at that point. I'm not liking this book. I can understand why some people didn't like it. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm trying to get through it because I purchased this fucking thing, you know? So I'm trying to get through this book. But I think the next Tessa Bailey book, I'm just going to wait till it goes on like Kindle Unlimited and then do it that way because it's not worth it to me. It's just not worth it. It's not good. Not good at all. Okay, I've finished My Killer Vacation. Honestly, I am going to probably give it 2 stars. I did not like this book at all. It, like I said before in my other clip, if they're not arguing with each other, they're like trying to have sex with each other, and then it's like they keep getting interrupted, and I'm like, are you kidding me? How many times are you going to get interrupted before you go and have sex and all that stuff? It's just, ugh. And then, like, I felt like she was more of a hindrance to the investigation than a help. And it's like, lady, mind your business. You're a fucking school teacher. You are not an investigator. So I just was like, no. 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 Not good. Not good. This is probably the worst Tessa Bailey book I think I've ever read. This is probably the worst one I've ever read from her. I just did not like this. I should have just DNF'd it. You know what? I feel like this book is kind of cursed. I feel like this book is cursed because when it first was announced, there was a cover for the book, and I guess like the artist that did the cover was saying that someone stole her same idea, and it's like, from the way it looks, and it's like, there's been like how many books that kind of have used that same type of pose and things like that. So, you know, I didn't understand where she's saying like stolen. It's like, you know how many covers like look the same when it comes to romance? You know how many people, how many authors use the same model for, you know, and like they'll use the same photo. It's like they get the photo stock, you know, from somebody, and it's like they use the same pose. I've seen like the same dude on like multiple covers, and so I felt like I was like, okay, I don't think this, you know, I don't think what she's saying is true. And I think the woman ended up going on private or something. I think she privated her account or something like that. And so anyways, Tessa Bailey decided to go and do a cover herself. I think she got from like Canva or something like that, I think. So she ends up doing this cover, a recover for it. And so the first cover, I think it was the first cover, people were like, is this person Samoan or Hawaiian? And I guess, you know, like the description was the guy's a white guy, which that's the description in the book sounded like to me, was like the guy's a white dude. And then so she recovers it, and then there was like this tattoo or something on his elbow that was, I guess that's for like whatever tribe in Hawaii or something. I don't know. I don't pay attention to any of that crap. So supposedly it's some type of tribal tattoo. And then, you know, people complained about that. So she casually went and changed that. And so now you see the sleeve is like, it's like skulls and stuff. So she changed that too. And so I'm like, man, this book is like cursed. I see this book is just cursed. And then the book wasn't any good. I didn't like it. And then I felt like the sex scenes were kind of cheesy, and like sometimes I would say sometimes Tessa Bailey's sex scenes can be a little over the top kind of thing, you know? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like a few times the hero Miles, he kept saying like, we're going to do the business. And I was like, who fucking says that? Who's going to say we're going to do the business? And it's just like, what? I'm just like, oh man, this is just, you know. And then they were like, I don't know, like I said, it got to like the intimate scenes, and I'm just like, I did not like this book. And that's why I said I'm at a 2. I can't even give it a 3. I don't even think it's decent. I just think it's bad. It's not good. It's not good. I really wanted to give this book a chance, and it just didn't work for me. Like I said, I normally like her. There's a few books that I was kind of like, you know, not really happy with, you know, like when I read them. This is probably, like I said, this is probably the worst book I think I've ever read from Tessa Bailey. Not good. It's not good. So, unfortunately, yes, I have to give it a 2 because, I mean, her brother was annoying. Her character, Taylor, was annoying. The freaking bounty hunter was annoying. All of these characters were annoying. And I was like, no, this doesn't work for me. Just like, oh no. So anyways, that's it, you know, for this book. So I will talk to you all later with my final book that I'm going to discuss in this video. Okay, this is the last book I'm talking about, and then I'm finishing off this video. So I ended up reading Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Now, I normally don't read a lot of you know, stuff that's like mysteries and stuff like that, but the movie was coming out. It's coming out next month in July, so I wanted to check out the book and see how different the book is from the movie. Now, I went and read what's the book called again? I forget. But I went and I read, no, I can't remember it. I went and read last year this book here. I'll just put it right there. And I just recently watched the movie, and it's not the same. So I'm hoping that next month when this movie comes out, that it's as close to the book as they can get, because I have been really disappointed in the past when it comes to them doing book adaptations to put them into the movies. This one here, I'm gonna give it like 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one. It definitely is outside my what I normally read. So this one here, it says that for years rumors of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet town on the North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive, intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Then the time comes when she yearns to be touched and loved. When 2 young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. Now, I'm going to put it in the the author's words were in the back. It says a conversation with Delia Owens. Now she says, where the Crawdads sing is a mystery, a love story, and a courtroom drama. But it is primarily about self-reliance, survival, and how isolation affects human behavior. Since our species is a social mammal, we have strong genetic tendencies to belong to a group of tightly bonded family and friends. This is true. But what happens if a young girl, such as the novel's heroine, Kaya, finds herself alone without a group? Of course, she feels lonely, threatened, insecure, and incompetent. Kaya also behaves strangely, hiding behind trees when she sees others on the beach and avoiding the village. She ventures deeper into the wilds of the marsh, away from people, and in doing so begins to learn life lessons directly from the natural world. It says this organic guidance, along with instinctual behaviors born from isolation, allow her to survive and protect herself. But much more than that, the confidence she gains from self-reliance permits her to soar with personal achievements beyond what she could imagine. Now, this one here, it's a sad one. This is emotional. This is an emotional book. So we got the character of Kaya. It starts out with her being 6 years old. Her mother leaves. And then we end up finding out that the reason why her mother left is because, years of dealing with the father's abuse. And, he used to get drunk and hit. So her mother leaves, and then her siblings decide to leave. So she's there by herself with her father. Eventually, her father leaves, and she's by herself. She spends one day in school and decides, not for me. So she goes and she hides in the marsh. And this is how she basically survives. She survives. Her home, her family is the marsh and what the marsh gives her. So she ends up becoming self-reliant and learns to take care of herself. And so she ends up befriending this boy who she kind of saw a little bit over the years, Tate. And her and Tate get involved. And then he goes off to college. She gets involved with this boy named Chase, and it goes from there. So it kind of has a slight love triangle, a little bit. And then Chase gets killed. So they end up blaming Kaya for the crime. Throughout this book, she is basically treated like crap from the townspeople. The only people who treated her well was Tate, and there was a couple, a married couple, and they were a black couple. So we had Jumpin, was his name, and Mabel was his wife. And they basically looked out for her. She, of course, would spend a lot of time in the marsh by herself. And, she would do that. But she also would sell mussels and different things like that. Try to sell stuff to Jumpin. And, because he had a place where, it was probably like a convenience store type of thing. And so she would sell stuff there. Well, they looked out for her. They treated her more as a family member than, how she was with her own family. Like I said, her family abandoned her, And I really loved the story with her, finding this home in the marsh and learning from it. And eventually Tate, he had taught her how to read. And so she would take these samples and, learned about the marsh and the birds and all of the life that is in this marsh. And so, besides, this being a mystery of who killed Chase, it also has, like I said, a love story in it too, where it's, her finding her first love and then her getting involved with Chase and different things like that. But also it's a love of nature, her finding this love of nature and it protecting her and saving her from, all kinds of stuff. And that's what it's really about. And like I said, it's sad because I was reading this book crying and just like feeling bad for her. But, she learned so much, surviving on her own. Could anybody else be able to do that? I don't know. Especially not like kids today who are so like spoiled. I will say there is a couple of triggers in here that people would have to be aware of. One would be there is racism in here because this takes place in like the 50s and 60s. Of course, there's still segregation in here because you have the colored town, that's what she called it, the colored town with all the black people. And of course, the black people weren't allowed to go into the white town, basically. And there is also the N-word is called, is several times in this book, where these boys are like throwing rocks at Jumpin', and he's walking away with his head down, like trying to mind his business, and they're calling him the N-word. So there is blatant racism in here, but of course, during that time, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to see. So there's that. And then also there is attempted sexual assault. So, that happened. But it was, and like I said, it's a mystery. It was really good. And there was a couple of parts in here I thought were really good. I wanted to read them. She's talking to her brother because her brother comes back. And he says to her, "I know you have every reason in the world to hate people. I don't blame you, but..." And she says, "That's what nobody understands about me." She raised her voice. "I never hated people. They hated me. They laughed at me. They left me. They harassed me. They attacked me. Well, it's true. I learned to live without them, without you, without Ma, without anybody." And so I liked that part. And then there's another part where she said, where it said, she knew the years of isolation had altered her behavior until she was different from others, but it wasn't her fault she'd been alone. Most of what she knew she learned from the wild. Nature had nurtured, tutored, and protected her when no one else would. If consequences resulted from her behaving badly, then they too were functions of life's fundamental core. I liked that. And, you look at it and you're like, how can you blame somebody for acting a certain way when look at the way she was treated? You wonder why she's the weird girl, why she's always hiding out in the woods, because besides, people not treating her right, she was also called swamp trash. So, her staying away from people and only allowing a small amount of people into her life, this was her life, only allowing the special people into her life, and of course she has, she's naive in parts because, one of her relationships, she believed this person was going to commit to her and all that stuff when he wasn't. You learn more about it in the book, but I don't want to tease like who it is and all that stuff. You have to read it for yourself. I don't want to go and give away, like spoilers and things. But I really liked this. I will definitely give this like 4 stars. It was, I loved the description. I thought the author did really well with describing the marsh and the landscaping, and I could just picture it in my head of this area just filled with like life and plants and birds and fish and all kinds of stuff. And it just, I really wanted to step inside this book and look around at everything, because I like nature, you know. So I said I definitely identified with Kaya, because she's this character of like, she likes to be by herself. She learns things by herself, you know. She's gotten used to the isolation, and so I identify a lot with her character. And then like nature and everything, I love nature. I love to go out into the woods and things like that, and you know, just discover stuff and just the beauty of nature. And so yeah, it was good. This was a good book. I really enjoyed this one. There was a couple of people who I follow on Goodreads that they didn't like this book, but I really, you know, this is outside of what I normally read, but I really enjoyed this one. And I really hope that the people who make the movie really did the book justice, because I really enjoyed this one a lot. And so yeah, but anyways, that's it for this video here. Have yourselves a good day. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Be safe out there. And I will see you all on the next video. All right. Bye.